We're mock drafting 2026 way too early. And I gotta say, round one looks pretty damn clean. Bijan, Gibbs, JSN, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, McCaffrey, Achane, St. Brown, Taylor, Lamb, Neighbors, Chase Brown makes up the top 12. Now, it is January 2nd. I dropped round one on the 1st, so nothing's changed between now and the 2nd, but something could change in the coming weeks or the coming months. So I don't want to hear, but Smitty, didn't you read the news? A lot can change in a mere matter of days or even hours. So of course we'll come in, adjust and adapt to redo this damn mock draft all over again, weeks or months from now. This isn't the first one. You're watching the mock draft show.
You're watching the mock draft show.
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, on each shelf, you will see different shows, different seasons.
The quarterback, running back show, rookie show, tight end show, wide receiver, mock draft show.
Of different series. This right here is the
mock draft show.
This happens to be episode number 2, round 2. Bijan, Gibbs, JSN, Chase, Nacua, McCaffrey, Achane, St. Brown, Taylor, Lamb, Neighbors, Chase Brown. That was round 1. Who's the 2.1? The fantasy football show begins right now.
You're watching the mock draft show.
The 2.1 to me in 2026, a player I strongly considered putting at that 1.12, James Cook, who I believe is definitely worthy of being one of your bookend 12-13 snags. Now, would I go running back? Maybe. So I'm not necessarily pairing these guys up as if I'm trying to draft a full team here. I'm trying to give you the best order I can for the first 4 rounds in 2026 fantasy football. Cook has been steadily improving his vision, his ability to read a defense, find a hole. He can catch the ball, plays in an offense that just is damn near determined to not bring in big weapons and surround Josh Allen with more talent. So it is a Josh Allen and James Cook show. Could they draft a rookie wide receiver in this draft class? Maybe. Could they bring in a big free agent? It's possible. Might they bring in a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson, which wouldn't be a bad addition, but he's not going to overshadow Cook. Cook will continue to eat in this offense. Getting his new fat contract assures you that he's not going anywhere. You can cuff him to Ray Davis pretty comfortably. This is an easy backfield to own and produce in, especially produce in. And he's getting better. Like I said, walking into 2025, Cook was good. Walking out of 2025, Cook is fantastic. He has polished his skill set, his ability to take advantage of defensive schemes. He is very intelligent when on the field. I believe Cook can get better, and he's a fantastic 2.1 selection in 2026. Next up probably is going to be Drake London, who, despite disappointing again this year, is a top 5 wide receiver whenever things are humming in the offense. 5 games he missed in 2025 between weeks 1 and week 17. Finished as wide receiver 1, not once, not twice, 3 different times. That's unreal. Finished as wide receiver 1, not 1 time, not 2 times, 3 different times. Wide receiver 1, all of his greenlit games, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 11, then he got injured. That's insane. He's literally the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football from weeks number 4 through 11. If you take out that missed game in week number 8. That's the problem, though. That's why we're sitting here going, well, do we trust Drake London? Do we trust Drake London's situation? But as a 2nd round pick, I do. And I think that maybe I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket, but Drake London feels like a damn fine 2nd round pick. And again, we're not trying to pair up the 1st and 2nd round selections to make a complete team, but imagine having Neighbors in London. Imagine having Chase Brown in London. Imagine having JT in London. It's a very, very strong play in round 2. Concerns about Penix Jr. Will he be healthy in time for week 1? Concerns about a lot of things going on there in Atlanta, coaching scheme. But at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, and Drake London when playing, granted, started off the year kind of slow, wide receiver 23, wide receiver 75, wide receiver 35, but then it was off to the races. Wide receiver number 5 in week number 4, bye week. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 39, injured, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 11. You just can't argue when he's on the field, he's a top 5 wide receiver. Is high risk, high reward even in round 2, but it is more reward than it is risk given what he can do when he's on the field. Ashton Jeanty is an easy player to doubt at this 2.3. I get it, but at the end of the day, I believe that his situation will turn around. I believe there's so much ability here that we're looking at a 1st round player that we're being gifted in round 2 because of all the trauma and PTSD we're bringing into the situation in 2026. Now, we will probably need to tread lightly in terms of saturating all of our teams with Ashton Jeanty shares. But again, diversifying your fantasy football portfolio is the mantra of 2026 anyway. But in best ball drafts, underdog promo code Smitty. Use promo code Smitty, the link in the description, to play 5 and get 75 on underdog using code Smitty. We're going to get Ashton Jeanty at territory that absolutely 100% bakes in his risk. And the upside's enormous. The upside is every bit as high as JT or Chase Brown or HN to some degree. They got to solve their quarterback situation. Is it Lamar Jackson in a trade? Is it Malik Willis? Is it a rookie? They've got to solve their offensive line, coaching the offensive line, bringing in the right staff, tweaking this thing in ways that they just didn't have a clue in terms of tweaking in 2025. But I believe that Jeanty will deliver, and second round is pretty safe, honestly. As long as you're not stacking every team you have with Ashton Jeanty, you will be pretty happy, I think, with this selection. The guy finished as wide receiver number 5. How can we argue George Pickens? Even if he's not in Dallas because he is a free agent, I think he gets tagged and he signs a long-term deal. There could be a holdout situation. This could get very messy. If he holds out the entire offseason, then we're back here maybe redoing this with some injury risk because of the holdouts. Holdouts always end badly. But Pickens is trying to get a long-term deal. The Cowboys need to ink him. They know they need to ink him. Will Jerry do the right thing in the offseason? Will he do the right thing early in the offseason? But I do know that George Pickens has the ability to be a top 5 wide receiver, like he just proved any given season. It's not just a one-off year, a weird year. Like we look at Wan'Dale Robinson finishing as like wide receiver 11, 12, 13, depending on your scoring format. It's probably not going to happen next year. It's not that he's bad. It's an outlier for many reasons. This is not one of those situations where we look at George Pickens and we say, oh, this guy can't replicate this. He has always been in our eyes, and we've said it on the channel year after year, a top 5 to 10 wide receiver from a talent perspective, but they couldn't get it out of him in Pittsburgh. He goes to Dallas. We jumped on that train as quickly as you could. We invented the train. We constructed the train. We conducted the George Pickens train in 2025, and we'll continue to ride this train into the promised land as George Pickens continues to produce. And the fact that everyone's worried about what this looks like, there's 2 elite wide receivers in Dallas. What's going to happen with his contract? It makes him pretty protected right here in this second round territory that is nearing the middle of the second round. I love this value for Pickens. I'd take him anywhere in between the 2.3 and down, straight down. I think it's a steal anywhere from 2.2, 2.3 on down in the draft. Nico Collins needs to be discussed right in this territory. He's a fantastic grab in this 2.2 to 2.6 range. Don't see any reason why he would regress whatsoever. Injury concerns, Stroud concerns are being a little bit alleviated. So very, very safe pick. I think that Nico deserves consideration in the 1.10 down to this territory. So to get him at the back end of his range of outcomes is pretty safe. Nico, Smitty approved 100% in this territory. McBride is a fantastic pick here in the middle or even early part of round 2. I'll say this about McBride in tight end drafting in 2026, like it was in 2025, like it'll probably be every single year. The earlier you draft, so on Underdog, promo code Smitty is probably the best way to do early redraft drafts. And this goes for Dynasty as well. But on Underdog, promo code Smitty, you can draft this guy in round 2, top of round 2, and it'll feel like you didn't miss a beat with your other positions. Why? Because your sleepers no one knows about them yet. You're drafting guys in the 3rd and 4th and 5th round that will climb up. You're drafting guys in 6 and 7 that should be in 4 and 5 because we're on top of it early. And there won't be that feeling of I'm taking this guy away from people. I'm stealing the 2026 versions of the RJ Harveys and those types of players. Pickens late in the middle rounds, getting Pickens. You won't be able to get any of those players in August and September or even late July that you can get right now. And so that's why drafting McBride earlier in best ball is better than drafting him later in best ball. Use all of your saturation of McBride shares in the early part of the season when you can take full advantage of your sleeper still being available later. And I promise you, if you draft McBride in round 2, especially mid to top round 2 in August, it'll feel very, very different. It could feel very ugly for the rest of your roster. You're going to feel very thin at the other positions. That will not be the case right now. So now is the time to strike on McBride. Hampton's a fantastic pick. You could argue, and some of you will, Hampton should be at 12. Like, this is a great player. We need to see the situation play out a little bit before we start like putting him at 11 or 12. But he's certainly capable of delivering upon anything from 2.1 down to this pick, down all the way down the second round. He's a fantastic, safe second round player. I think I could definitely argue that London, Cook, Nico, even McBride to a degree, especially early on, like I'm saying, have a little bit more of the feeling of if you took them with the last pick in round 1 or the bookend picks at 12 and 13, you could feel really comfortable. Hampton still feels a little bit like you want to make sure you're drafting the upside and not necessarily the ceiling. And I think this puts him in a very safe place. But if you had Hampton anywhere in this territory, completely fine with it. You could even swap Jeanty and Hampton like this, and it wouldn't make me feel any sort of weird way. It's just preference at this point. But Hampton definitely deserves to be in this conversation anywhere from the 2.2 down to 2.12. Rashee Rice is capable of being a top 1 to 5 wide receiver at any moment. The Mahomes injury, just the way Rice's career has kind of gone up and down and never been truly up for that long, makes you have some reservations about valuing him at the Nico or Neighbors or Lamb or even London territory. But I think once you get past this point where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he's wide receiver 10, 9 wide receivers have gone already. How are we even seeing Rice sitting here? Just the question marks, the concerns, the risk that people think, is going to affect his value. But I mean, at this point, this is steal territory. Imagine getting Puka and Rashee Rice at this 5 spot. Again, I'm not trying to make teams out of this mock draft, so I'm not going to consider what the teams already drafted from the draft slot. But just looking at this right now, Rashee Rice and Nakua, Rashee Rice and McCaffrey, Rashee Rice and Achane, unbelievable value. Probably one of the better values in this entire round that you can't really say I should be drafting him higher. You kind of say I need to do it this way. I need to protect myself and make sure Rice isn't too high, but this is mother freaking fantastic. Rice Smitty approved from this territory with ease. Hendy is going to be an unbelievable player. He already is. And his playoff finish will certainly guide this ADP a little bit. If you're watching right now, the NFL playoffs have not occurred and we're entering week 18. So how Hendy's used in the playoffs could move him to 2.1. It could move him down to 3.1, depending on how people freak out. But I really, really love this value as of this moment. And Hendy, to me, is worthy of being a first rounder. But this, like with Rice, bakes in some of the risk that we're seeing that people fear, that they're concerned about, that they can't shake. And the fact that some of these guys are very, very solid picks and very secure picks, this makes sense to put the riskier players like Rice and Hendy here, even though we think the upside outweighs the risk. It's very safe to put them right here, and I very, very much love Hendy's value. And I'll be scooping up Hendy left and right in the mid to late second round for as long as I can. And I don't think it'll last all offseason, but for right now, it's a fantastic slotting, totally Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
This is early to some people. Jeremiah Love might scare people because they worry about MHJ, they worry about BTJ, they worry about Jeanty even more so. Taking that player too high, not returning the value. Rookies are going to scare a lot of people this year, but they don't scare me because I don't look at it like, oh, it's a rookie. I look at every player individually. Case by case, every situation is different. Love's landing spot will certainly move him to 2.1 or even 1.10 if he goes to KC. Let's say at number 9, number 10, wherever KC settles with their draft selection, it's looking like 9 or 10 right now. If they took Jeremiah Love, he'd go to the 1.10 territory, and that would be worth paying, might I add. But right now, and this is why drafting on Underdog promo code Smitty, link in description, is so fun right now, or it will be once the big board opens, I think the night of the Super Bowl at midnight. And we'll be cooking on the Jeremiah Love value. We'll be scooping this kid up left and right at the mid to late second round value for as long as we can on Underdog until he climbs up. And even then, when he climbs to the top of round 2, let's say, or even the 1.10, I'll still take shares of Jeremiah Love there because you can build different teams from that draft slot. I want Jeremiah Love teams built from the 11, the 12, the 14 selections because you're going to have different players to stack with them. So I definitely going to take advantage for as long as I can. I recommend all of you do as well. This is 100% Smitty approved. This is a really clean first and second round. I have to say, I don't dislike any of the picks. I've never felt so strongly about a top 22, and I'm assuming I'm going to feel the same way once I fill in the final grouping here. I've never felt so strongly about a top 22 coming out of a first mock draft before, I think, ever in fantasy. These are legitimate, like top 12, top 14 overall players still that we're talking about. Rice, Hampton, Hendy, Love, all these guys are capable of being top 12. Obviously, they won't all finish there, but that's how strong it is down to the 2.10. I'm feeling that way. That's an amazing season we're about to enter. I think Breece Hall needs to be considered here. Chris Olave needs to be considered here, but I'm not going to put Olave in the top 2 rounds, but I'm just saying he's playing that good. I think Derrick Henry, some will put him here. He's more of a guy that if I get him in the middle of the 3rd or late 3rd, I'll take some stabs just in case he does have one more year left, but he's getting older. He slowed down a lot. He did really good at the end of the year. It finished, so good. Harvey, I love, but I feel like he's more of a electric league winning 3rd round pick as people continue to doubt him, but how he finishes in the playoffs is going to determine a lot because like I said, we're entering week 18 and we don't know how the story is going to go. So Harvey could completely climb. Bucky, the Bucks have to win week 18, and there's some concern that Bucky's getting phased out a little more than we want, but I truly still believe in the running back. JJ, I know we doubt him. Do we think his situation changes? I have to think that Minnesota will figure something out. So I'm going to put JJ, Justin Jefferson, right here at 2.1, and I'm very, very cognizant of the fact that this could change if we don't see change in Minnesota, if we don't see the right reactions and moves and emergency, we need to fix this type of thinking, then I'm gonna move him down. But for right now, this is again on underdog where you're gonna be able to take advantage of things before they happen, take some risk and say, I'm gonna go after him in anticipation. And if he gets, let's say, Lamar Jackson or a quarterback, the top 2 quarterback rookie that we just absolutely love and we think this is going to work well, he's going to climb all the way to the top of this round and be near the 1-2 turn. So I don't think this is that risky, although the fact that he couldn't even deliver top 15 wide receiver numbers on the entire season makes me hesitant to do much more than this right now. But I do feel like this is a pretty safe place to try and take a gamble on the situation changing. And I know it's pretty easy for us to forget how good he is and say, oh, it's never coming back, the JJ days of old. But I think they will. It's been a brutal year, and it's going to protect his, or shall I say, push his value down into a protected state, a very safe place. And again, not putting all my eggs in one basket, but I will take JJ at this turn territory, the 2-3 turn in a handful of leagues, not all of them, but a handful of leagues. That leaves us with Mr. 12. Is it Breece Hall? Is it Bucky? Bucky, I still love. I do feel like he could become a super strong value 3.1, 3.2, 3rd drafted player, top of round 3, similar to Olave, similar to Harvey. Some might say AJ Brown. Let me also say that if Travis Etienne ends up going to KC or playing because he's a free agent, he ends up going somewhere to be a superstar running back 1, which he already is in Jacksonville, and he could stay in Jacksonville and still be ranked high. But this is somebody we'd consider at that 2-3 round turn. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I believe Breece Hall plays for KC or he goes somewhere remarkably fantasy football relevant. And so I'm putting Breece Hall at 2.12, leaving Bucky, leaving Etienne, leaving Harvey, leaving AJ Brown, leaving a plethora of running back selections to be had at the 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, meaning that even though I love these later picks, I love getting Neighbors in London, I love getting Chase Brown and Pickens or Collins and St. Brown or even Rice and Nakua right here. At the end of the day, this 1 and 2 overall pick, the 3 overall pick seems like an amazing draft slot. And I kind of swing back around saying that is the best selection to draft from this year. I will not be wavering probably too much. Getting a player at Love or Hendy or JJ or Hall's caliber at this late second round territory to then just get an additional extra player at that same value with your 3rd drafted player selection, the 1 pick's going to be where it's at. However, it is so well rounded. This is an amazing top 24. There really is no bad draft selection in 2026, in my opinion, at least through 2 rounds. As we get through rounds 3 and 4, maybe the drop off is so bad at the end of round 3 or top of 4 that we truly do say 1 and 2 and 3 are the best picks by far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually they are, but this is looking pretty solid so far. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Cook, London, Jeanty, Pickens, Collins, McBride, Hampton, Rice, Hendy, Love, JJ, and Hall round out the second round to go with the first round, part 3. Round number 3 will be the next video. Don't forget to watch all the different series that I have on the YouTube channel. They all have their own shelf on my main homepage of my YouTube. They're all different series. They're all different shows. This is the mock draft show. I'll see you on part 3. Also, don't forget I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks and live at midnight almost every single night. And don't forget that thefantasyfootballshow.com, my content site, the trade calculator, bold predictions is already 2026 ready. I even have the first bold prediction of the year up on thefantasyfootballshow.com. So check it out. See you at 8 p.m.